Hello, America. It's the video you've all been waiting for. Karate Kid, Part 3. Finally finished the series. Loved all of it. Let's dive in. Okay. So, Karate Kid 3 starts. You're following Kreese, right? The teacher of Cobra Kai from Part 1, who's really the whole villain of the whole thing, and he's doing it rough. He's lost his students. No one wants to follow this loser who lost the karate tournament. Plus, a lot of people saw him beat all his students in the parking lot, and he was just a real big jerk and a sore loser. So yeah, his business is failing. He's drinking. He's unwashed. He's given up. So he calls his old buddy, who was in the army with him. They studied karate under the same teacher, I believe. Maybe Kreese taught this guy, but this guy is like a millionaire who makes his money off disposing of nuclear waste in the worst way possible. He's basically one of the villains from Captain Planet, in this very James Bondy fashion. He's got all these servants. He's like in a bathtub, making phone calls, sending faxes, just running all his business from this tub as all his servant slaves surround him and just put up with all his crap. So anyway, he's like, no, Kreese, you're not giving up. I'm going to stop working. I'm going to stop hiding nuclear waste around the world. And I'm going to devote my sole attention to getting revenge for you in a very Count of Monte Cristo fashion. He's like, I'm going to triple down by dozens of karate studios, and we're going to put them everywhere. Cobra Kai's back, bigger, better than ever. It's like, you need to go to Tahiti. It's a magical place. So Kreese just pieces out and goes to Tahiti, goes to the airport. The guy just sends him on a paid vacation. It's like, whatever you want, Kreese, I got you. And you see Mr. Miyagi and Daniel-san getting back. So I love the overlay. They set the timeline very well. Okay, this is right as they get back in the U.S. You have a phone call with the mom. You see that actress again. That was great. Daniel-san has broken up with, or Kimiko broke up with Daniel-san. Didn't think we see her again, and we don't. So Daniel-san's back. He's supposed to go to college, but he doesn't. He's like, I'm going to take all my college, but I'm not a college kid. You could tell. He didn't want to go to college because he ran away to Okinawa for a month instead of going. So he's like, I took all my money, all my college money, and I bought the shadiest building ever for Mr. Miyagi to build a bonsai shop with his dream. So while they're gone, the building is torn down. Someone's building a big condo apartment area. So Mr. Miyagi's workshop's cleaned out. All his stuff's gone. All his plants weren't watered and they're dead. Except the ones he had in his house, which were outside and apparently it rained. So Daniel-san is like, I got you. We're going to go business together and sell these wonderful little bonsai plants. Mr. Miyagi made dinner, right? And he has for both of them, they're about to eat dinner. It's hot and fresh. Daniel's like, no, never mind. Let's drive across town. So they drive. They just leave the dinner there. Drive across town at 10 o'clock at night. And he shows him this junky old building that he bought. And it's just the worst way to show someone property you bought. There's no lights. There's electricity. He doesn't turn the lights on. It's cobwebby. It's dark. There's garbage everywhere. And he just leads them to this place in the pitch black of night. Just hey, look at this. If you're going to buy sketchy property, show it off in the daylight. Get some sunlight in there. Maybe turn on the light switch. They exist. I don't know why. He had the worst real estate training, Daniel-san. Mr. Miyagi's super nice. We can make some of this. This is great. Thank you. This is worth leaving my dinner for. And they go. So this whole time, the villain, I'm really giving him a good identity. Terry is hatching the most amazing Count of Monte Cristo revenge plan. Way overcomplicated, and I love it. He brings in the bad boy karate, this other karate champion from out of town. He hires him. Is going to give him thousands of dollars of money and 50% stakes in Cobra Kai, the franchise, just to defeat Daniel-san and make him hurt. So he buys a fighter for Daniel-san, sends this kid, the bad boy, to rough him up. And they smash up Mr. Miyagi's shop. They threaten Daniel-san, and they're just harassing the whole time to drive him to sign up for the tournament. At the same time, he buys an old pickup truck, gets his Alfred to buy like all these old clothes, and he pretends to be Daniel's new friend. Like runs into him. He fakes the death of John Kreese. Takes this whole scenario where he like accidentally runs into Daniel-san, apologizes, and befriends him, and just psychologically is just buffering Daniel-san on both sides for his big plan to humiliate Daniel-san in this karate tournament and just break him mentally. And through it, Daniel-san hurt Mr. Miyagi. So Daniel-san is doing this whole tiny little plant thing with Mr. Miyagi. They're running their own business. Across the street, they need pots for all the tiny little plants. And new love interest, 3 movies, 3 love interests for Daniel-san. And here's the kicker. They know they're not going to get this girl back for another movie. It's like, let's not even pretend that this is the love of Daniel's life. So in the first minute, she's like, Daniel, I have a boyfriend. I'm moving back to Ohio. I'm getting back together with my boyfriend. This isn't going anywhere. Upfront and honest about it. Like, hey, we're just going to be friends. Not a real thing. Don't get your hopes up. And they do. She disappears like halfway through the movie. Just like, peace out and gone. Spoiler. Which is pretty great. Hey, buddy, come here. Oh, I got you. Oh. That was not how you pick up a cat. Don't do that. I'm sorry, buddy. Okay. So, the bad boy of Karate Kid comes over while they're having their not date. He steals Daniel-san's macaroni. Like, what a power move. He just walks in and starts eating this guy's macaroni. They turn off the lights, intimidation factor. Rough up, smash everything. Girl kicker. Kicks the girl right in the stomach. Like, to establish I am a bad person, he just, boom, stomach punches this girl in half. And Daniel-san actually goes to the police, which he didn't do before. So I appreciate that. They don't do anything. But at least you see them try. Like, hey, they still have bonsai plants. They still $1,000 of plants. They break a lot of stuff, kick a couple girls. So it's nice that he at least tried to do the right thing and go through the authorities and not just solve the problems with his fist. So they're kind of break him down emotionally. The villain, Terry, is pretending to be his friend, so he teaches him karate. And it's all about anger. It's all about results. It's all about just doing as much damage as possible and just being violent. The opposite of Mr. Miyagi's teaching. So he has him punching and kicking boards with his bare-fisted hand. He's all bruised up. They just try to break his body in just the worst way possible. Not real teaching, but he's angry and emotional. He goes dancing with the not girlfriend, Jessica. And the villain, again, just orchestrating everything, pays some guy to hit on her, and Daniel just breaks his nose. And she I'm out of here. I'm going to Ohio. See ya. And Daniel's just all distraught because that's not who he wants to be. And so he turns to Mr. Miyagi. He's like, hey, this isn't me. I don't want to be anger, aggressive. This is at the point of karate. This is violent, hurting people. I don't want to do this to this guy. So Mr. Miyagi teaches him. It's all about just finding yourself, mastering yourself, the self-confidence and discipline. It's you can lose the fight, just don't lose the fear, which is great. I think this is the least liked Karate Kid movie and kind of the worst one, just from talking to people, reviews. I enjoyed it. I liked it. It was a lot of fun. I think the biggest thing is it's a lot like Karate Kid 1. It's almost identical, and you have Daniel being bullied by people, in karate being manipulated to fight a tournament, which he wins. We'll get to that. Manipulated to fight this tournament, and the lessons are very similar, just kind of mastering yourself, not be conquered by fear, fighting for respect and honor, and self-defense. So it's very similar, which is you don't want a sequel. You want to innovate new stuff. So I could see the kind of parallels. It's also very hard to watch Daniel on a lot of these scenes because he's really regressing. To compare to Karate Kid 2, when he's being bullied and forced to fight this guy, he's very much learned from Mr. Miyagi, and he's very passive. He's very avoiding the fight. He's very patient, and he's taking his lessons to heart. And this one, they're breaking him down mentally, but he's just really regressing. He's angry. He's short. He's impatient. He's not listening to people. He's rude to Miyagi. He's rude to Jessica. It is very kind of Harry Potter 5. There's all this angst, and he's running away from all these things, and it's very difficult to watch. Until, he gets back to Mr. Miyagi, relearns these lessons, and that's life. You do relearn things. You do make steps forward and backwards. So overall, there's some great lines in it, some great stuff. There's a fantastic scene where, to save the business after they steal the plants and break up the shop, they go rock climbing to find this original bonsai plant that Mr. Miyagi hid in the mountains like 20 years ago on the sheer cliff where no one can get to it. And Jessica has been rock climbing like twice. She has pictures in the gear, maybe 3 times. And Daniel's never gone. So no helmets. It's California in the 80s. No helmets, no safety gear. They got some rope and some gloves. And she's like, "Are you sure you got this, Daniel?" And Daniel's like, "Yeah, I'll be fine." He falls within like 10 feet from the cliff. First 30 seconds, he nearly dies. And they're like, "Do you want to go back?" He's like, "Nah." So they go all the way down. They get the plant. Immediately, Jessica falls, throws the plant in the salt water. Because, of course, they're over like this death trap where this pit gets filled with salt water and all from the ocean. So they rappel down to save the bonsai plant, and they wash it off with their bottled water. And the bad boy of karate and this little like henchman show up. They follow them out of the middle of nowhere somehow. They just show up. I don't know how they got there or knew where the guy was going. Super remote. They've been hiking for hours, but this guy shows up and they steal the ropes. They're like, "We're gonna murder you if you don't enter this karate tournament." Super intense. So they're like, "Sure, I'll fight you." And the thing is, you can just back out. But anyway, Daniel's all mad, so he promises a sign. He climbs up to the top. Before they pull them out of the death pit, the guy rips the bonsai plant in half and throws it at Daniel. Really shook up. Terrible second date. All the dates with Jessica and Daniel get harassed by the bad boy of karate. I don't know. No wonder she went back to Ohio. But there's a great lesson there that Mr. Miyagi fixes everything, as always. Just the plants out. Strong roots, the tree will save. And the lesson, like, if you have good roots and a good core, you'll weather anything in your life. And just stay true to your true self. Great lesson. I enjoyed Karate Kid 3 quite a bunch. I don't know. I don't think people do. Feel free to chime in. I don't know. People say they don't like it, but it was fun. I had a lot of fun with it. We get to the Karate Kid tournament, the big thing. The bad boy of karate, his whole mission is to hurt Daniel-san, right? So he's not trying to win, which is his arrogance and his downfall. So he's just trying to physically break Daniel's body and making him suffer. So it goes back and forth. And the great line, you can lose the fight, just don't lose the fear. And that's the whole thing. He's just being bullied the whole time, Daniel-san, being terrorized by this guy. You can't play with the hat. I gotta wear that, sorry. So that's rough. Daniel keeps getting up. He won't be beaten down. He keeps fighting. And he gets the 1 point. He gets 1 point in sudden death. Wins. Everyone's distraught. And that's the movie. We never see Jessa again. Mr. Miyagi and Daniel-san are doing great. I'm very excited to see where this goes. Cobra Kai is supposed to be back with all their franchises. So I'm very excited to start the Cobra Kai show to see where this picks up many years later. What lessons people have learned. I was really expected Billy Zabka, Johnny Lawrence to be in the trilogy again. I expected him to come back. I thought they had all their rival in chemistry, so I'm really surprised he was only in the first one. I really expected him to be in part 3 in some fashion. So I'm really looking forward to see him and everyone else's chemistry in the Cobra Kai show. So let me know if you liked Karate Kid or not. We can talk about it. Thanks for watching. Who is watching? We have 1 watcher. I don't know how to check. Anyway, that's my Karate Kid Part 3 review. Hiya!